आप सभी का इस पत्रकार वार्ता में हार्दिक अभिनंदन, स्वागत। यह हम सब के लिए हर्ष का विषय है कि कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठतम नेता, पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्री, इस देश की वित्तीय व्यवस्था को एक नई दिशा देने वाले आदरणीय पी चिदम्बरम जी छत्तीसगढ़ आए हैं और इस पत्रकार वार्ता को संबोधित करेंगे। मैं उनका छत्तीसगढ़ प्रदेश कांग्रेस की कमेटी की तरफ से हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। हमारे साथ एआईसीसी की मीडिया कोऑर्डिनेटर आदरणीय राधिका खेरा जी भी हैं, मैं उनका भी स्वागत करता हूं। आदरणीय राष्ट्रीय प्रवक्ता आदरणीय अखिलेश प्रताप सिंह जी हैं, मैं उनका भी स्वागत करता हूं। प्रदेश कांग्रेस के प्रभारी महामंत्री आदरणीय गेंदू जी, प्रदेश कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ प्रवक्ता भाई आरपी सिंह जी, भाई घनश्याम राजू तिवारी जी, भाई धनंजय ठाकुर जी, सुरेंद्र वर्मा जी, नितिन भंसाली जी, भाई अजय गंगवानी जी, आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन। मैं ज़्यादा समय न लेते हुए सीधे माननीय चिदम्बरम जी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि आप सबको संबोधित करें।
Good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I may express my difficulty in speaking to you in Hindi. I'll speak to you in English. A copy of my opening statement, both in Hindi and English, will be distributed at the end of the press conference. General Secretaries of the Pradesh Congress Committee, senior leaders, spokespersons, Ms. Radhika Khera and others on the dais with me. Good afternoon to all of you. I have a very brief opening statement. It will take me about 5 minutes to read it. After the tenure of a Congress government headed by late Shri Ajit Jogi, the BJP was elected thrice in succession and 3 governments were formed by Shri Raman Singh between 2003 and 2018. Since 2018, the Congress government is in office under Shri Bhupesh Baghel. It is but natural that we compare the state of Chhattisgarh in 2018 and in 2023. At the end of the BJP government's 3rd term, agriculture was in deep distress. Between May 2015 and November 2017, a period of about 2.5 years, a staggering 1,300 farmers took their own lives. That is more than 1 suicide per day. In 2017, the BJP government declared drought in 96 tahsils in 21 districts, but farmers did not get the promised amount under the crop insurance scheme. The BJP government also failed to give MSP as promised. At the end of 2017-18, the fiscal deficit of the state was 3.34%. Chhattisgarh was one of the poorest states of India. 39% of the population was living in poverty. 41% of the children were malnourished, and 47% of the women in the age group 15 to 59 years were anemic. The per capita income was 11 percentage points below the national average. Only 10% of the employed were in salaried jobs. the unemployment rate for youth between 20 and 29 years was 26%. Both female labor participation and female employment were abysmally low. In education, Chhattisgarh ranked 22 among the 30 states in terms of the Educational Development Index. CAG reports reveal that enrollment in government primary schools decreased by 12% between 2010 and 2016. Government budgeted rupees 13,379 crore for education between 2010 and 2016, but spent only 7,592 crore. The budget was for 13,379 crore. The actual expenditure was 7,592 crore. A sample audit by the CAG found appalling deficiencies in schools. 20% of schools had no library. 37% of schools had no playground. And 22% had no separate toilets for girls. In 2016, 11,963 untrained teachers were in positions of teaching. The scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities were worst affected during the BJP regime. Crime rates against SC and ST surged under the BJP government. The government failed to implement the Forest Rights Act. 74 lakh claims were made under the Forest Rights Act. 1/2 of them were arbitrarily rejected. And I've given you a few sample data about the state of Chhattisgarh in 2018. Now let me give you a snapshot of where Chhattisgarh is today after 5 years of Congress government. The priority to agriculture has made Chhattisgarh the rice bowl of India. The state can be truly proud it is the rice bowl of India. Rice production has increased from 49.3 lakh metric tons in 2018 to 71.6 lakh metric tons in 2021. It has since increased in 2023 also. Irrigation facilities were doubled in the last 5 years, enabling many farmers to grow a second crop. 9,272 crore rupees of agricultural loans were waived, benefiting 18,72,000 farmers. Irrigation tax of rupees 244 crore was also waived. Paddy is procured today at rupees 2,640 per quintal. Every landless laborer, agricultural laborer, receives 7,000 rupees as annual financial assistance. Today, you can be truly proud that agriculture contributes 32% of the state's GDP. Chhattisgarh can also be proud it has the lowest unemployment rate in the country, just 0.8%, less than 1%. 15 lakh jobs were created in 5 years. Unemployed youth get rupees 2,500 per month as an allowance. Health indicators have dramatically improved. 56 lakh families, that is 86% of all the families in Chhattisgarh, are covered by a comprehensive health insurance scheme that provides free medical treatment up to rupees 5 lakhs per year. All tests, treatments and medicines are free in government health facilities. Welfare of women and children is a priority. On every parameter concerning women and children, there has been a dramatic improvement. I'm also circulating a table, and I won't read the table entirely. I'll just show a few data. Infant mortality rate was 54%, it's now 44%. Women with 10 or more years of schooling was 26%, today it is 37%. Prevalence of diarrhea among children was 9%, now it's 3.6%. I can give more data, but it is available in that table. The welfare of SC and ST communities is paramount. 45% of the total budget expenditure of Chhattisgarh is on the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities. Out of 9,22,346 claims under the Forest Rights Act, 4,91,805 claims were accepted and land titles were distributed. Contrast with what happened in the BJP government. 1/2 of the claims were rejected, arbitrarily rejected. Today, out of 9,22,000 claims, we have accepted 4,91,000. The others are in process. The number of minor forest produce purchased was increased from 7 to 67. The MSP for tendu leaves was increased from 2,500 rupees to 4,000 rupees per standard bag. Per capita income, which is a measure of prosperity, was 88,793 rupees in 2018. Today, it is 1,33,897 rupees. It is increased by 50,000 rupees per person, per capita. According to a Niti Aayog report of the Government of India, 40 lakh people have come out of poverty in the last 5 years. This is the Government of India's number. The increase in prosperity is visible on the faces of the people, especially farmers. I shall conclude my opening statement with the promises made by the Congress Party to the people of Chhattisgarh in the current election campaign. 1. Government will procure 20 quintals of paddy per acre. 2. Outstanding agricultural loans will be waived again. 3. The Congress government will conduct a caste census. 4. 17.5 lakh houses will be provided to families under the Mukhyamantri Awas Yojana. 17.5 lakh houses. 4,000 rupees will be given as annual incentive to tendu leaf collectors. Minor forest produce will get 10 rupees additional MSP. No fees in government schools and colleges from KG to PG. from kindergarten to postgraduate. Landless agricultural labor will get 10,000 rupees as annual financial assistance, as against 7,000. These announcements will be part of the Congress manifesto. I appeal to the people of Chhattisgarh to vote for the Congress party and its candidates on the hand symbol. We promise another 5 years of impressive economic growth, all-round prosperity, particularly at the agriculture sector and farmers, welfare of women and children, special initiatives for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities, focused attention to education and health, creation of jobs for the youth, and peace and security to all sections of the people. The slogan, I believe, is Chhattisgarhia Sabse Badhiya.
Yes.
I'm glad to say that slogan, and I hope that the people of Chhattisgarh will vote for the Congress party.
Very well.
Yes.
I will translate.
जी पूछिए.
You can ask the question in Hindi or English.
आप हिंदी में भी सवाल कर सकते हैं, सर उसका जवाब दें. Mauritius coal scheme in Adani. Mauritius was the coal scheme जो Adani की.
Adani coal schemes that Adani was getting cheap coal and selling it at a higher cost.
I don't know the details. All I know is there are reports apparently prepared by one of the agencies of the government and widely reported in the newspapers. The Congress party's position, you know, is that there should be an inquiry. Unless there is an inquiry into these matters, we cannot say whether it's correct or not. So the Congress party's position is there should be an inquiry. I'm sure you will also agree there should be an inquiry.
अभिषेक जी, एक मिनट, अभिषेक जी.
Secularism is something different.
Caste census is only counting the castes. We should know how many people belong to the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBC, MBC. Without data, we are making reservations. How can you make reservation without data? If you support reservation, you should also support caste counting. How can there be reservation without caste census? Even for economically weaker sections, reservation of 10%. You must count first before you can reserve. We count tigers, we count elephants. Why can't we count so that we can make reservations? If you support reservation, you have to support a caste census.
राहुल जी अडानी का विरोध करते हैं सही, लेकिन कौन से उद्योगपति को आना चाहिए वो नहीं बताते. सिर्फ अडानी विरोध करते, कौन से उद्योगपति को लेकर चलना चाहिए?
I don't want to take the name of any individual industrialist. In a truly competitive market economy, there will be many, many people who will come up. I'll tell you a story. In 1991, hardly anybody had heard of N.R. Narayana Murthy or Aziz Premji. Where did they come up from? Therefore, in a truly market economy, in a truly competitive economy, many, many people will come up. And you will find people coming up from Chhattisgarh also. Who built two of India's finest airports, Mumbai and Delhi? I'm sure nobody had ever heard of GMR and GVR before that. When we gave the contract to GMR and GVR, they said, who's GMR? Who's GVR? But they have built the finest airports in India and among the best in the world. In a truly market economy, it is not dependent on any one industrialist. Hundreds will come up, and I'm looking forward to the day when a big industrialist will come up from Chhattisgarh.
As you said that this government is again going to pick up the loans of the farmer, and BJP is saying that if it's really the case, the government has to work on farmers, then what is the need of doing it again?
Agriculture must be profitable if it has to be sustainable. As I just told you, the bulk of the citizens of Chhattisgarh are farmers. It's not so in some other state. 32% of the state's GDP comes from farming. As long as such a large proportion is in farming, and studies show that farmers incur debts, it's only when rapid industrialization takes place, rapid services sector, and agriculture becomes a small proportion of the GDP, you can think of other alternatives. But as long as agriculture is the mainstay of Chhattisgarh, if 32% of the GDP is coming from agriculture, farmers must be given relief from time to time. Relief was given to them 5 years ago. If the Congress party's assessment is they are still burdened with debt, and therefore they have promised one more time of agricultural waiver.
जी अनिल जी
The Congress party is running on assembly election or coming to power. And Rahul Gandhi is in Chhattisgarh, and they had a dozen of promise to common people or voters. The BJP is calling this is the otherwise the senior citizen quota. BJP has closed the senior citizen quota of railways, and they is calling for this the freebies giving to Congress to common people. How to react to you as an expert of finance expert?
What is the second part?
सेकंड पार्ट को फिर बोलिए
No, you said something about senior citizens has been cancelled. After that you said something.
BJP has closed the senior citizens
Yes.
from railway, and BJP is calling it this is a freebies by the Congress party to common people.
You see,
How can you expert this?
as far as the Honorable Prime Minister is concerned, if he gives anything free, that is an incentive. If any other party announces anything free, it is a reverie. Or it is a, what is that called? Reverie. Reverie. The point is, BJP has also copied many of these announcements in the states ruled by them. Please understand, subsidies and allowances are an integral part of financial management. When Mr. Modi gives or promises to give gas cylinders, is that not a reverie? So I don't think you should take those statements seriously. As long as a subsidy as long as a subsidy is a merit subsidy, a merit subsidy is justifiable. Many subsidies are merit subsidies. Many allowances are merit allowances. We can take each one and debate it. Whatever the Congress has announced, I would call them merit subsidies. Sorry, I've got a bad throat, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity of visiting Raipur.
I think questions.
Babaji,
The good policies, those who want to
See, these are state elections. We are talking about what the state requires. What is required in Chhattisgarh may not be required in Tamil Nadu, may not be required in some other state. We are talking about the state's problems, the problems of this state, what the people of this state require. We are satisfied that this state requires another agricultural loan waiver. Therefore, it is being implemented here. If some other states assesses and comes to the conclusion that agricultural loan waiver must be done in that state, they will do it. So there's no one model which will apply all over India. The only person who believes that one model, one ration card, one election, one this, one that is Mr. Narendra Modi. I don't believe that. Each state is a unique situation. Each state requires different solutions, and what we have promised is what the state of Chhattisgarh requires.
जी अनुज जी
सर आप गृह मंत्री थे, केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री, तो आपने इसी रायपुर में आके तीन राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्रियों की बैठक की थी नक्सलवाद के खिलाफ ज्वाइंट ऑपरेशन चलाने के लिए, जिसमें छत्तीसगढ़ के मुख्यमंत्री थे, ओडिशा के मुख्यमंत्री थे और आंध्र प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री थे। पहल को अच्छी पहल कहा गया था, लेकिन आज तक नक्सली समस्या जो कि जो है इसका निराकरण क्या हो सकता है?
You see, I remember my visits to Raipur. I'm glad that you are agreeing that when the Manmohan Singh government was there, we worked with the state governments and considerably reduced the Naxalite violence. But in the last 5 years, Naxalite violence has further reduced. The government here in Chhattisgarh is Mr. Baghel's government. Therefore, if violence has reduced in Chhattisgarh, a major part of the credit must go to the Baghel government. See, on tackling Naxalism, there is no party, this party or that party. It's a major problem of the nation. We cannot look at, from a party point of view, fighting Naxalites. If the Congress party is in power in Delhi, we will continue to fight Naxalism and try to reduce the influence of Naxals.
सत्य प्रकाश जी
कांग्रेस के भी राष्ट्रीय नेता आ रहे हैं, भाजपा के भी राष्ट्रीय नेता आ रहे हैं, लेकिन आप लोग लगातार घोषणाएं कर रहे हैं और वो अपने घोषणा पत्र का इंतजार कर रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं कि यदि घोषणा पत्र का
What is saying? Most of the leaders from BJP they are waiting that what declaration we make, then they will make it, and you every day make it.
See, one student writes an exam, the next student copies from that paper.
Wonderful.
बीजेपी पास हो जाएगी कॉपी करके
Copy
The
is a copy.
person who writes the exam well will pass. The person who writes the exam first will pass. He writes the exam well. I believe we are writing a good exam. I have already announced 8 matters which will be included in the manifesto.
जी जी बताइए
पिछले समय घोषणा पत्र में आप लोगों ने जारी किया था बसपा का आरोप है कि वादा पूरा नहीं हुआ इस समय घोषणा पत्र जारी होगा क्या वो
95%.
मैनिफेस्टो के
Whatever promises made did not complete. Almost 95%.
I am not able to answer that question to the last percentage. The best person to answer that is Mr. Baghel. But I am told by my friends 95% of the promises made in the last election have been fulfilled.
That's why we are asking for another.
थैंक यू धन्यवाद आपका
Thank you very much. You will get a copy of the statement and the table in English and Hindi.
Listening you is always a